When we're in a purpose-built meeting room or classroom, sharing physical space with the people that we're trying to connect with, it's not 100% guaranteed that we will be fully present, but it's often much more obtainable than when we're dialing in remotely. When we are dialing in remotely to video calls or webinars or conference calls, it's likely that we're going to be in a space that contains lots of other distractions. Some which are under our control, and some which are completely unmanageable. It can be useful to try to limit or remove some of these distractions before stepping onto that important presentation or meeting. There are enough distractions already eroding our focus, such as internet connection, sound quality, the fact that we aren't in real-time sync with the participants we are trying to connect with. So, don't allow other distractions to distract your presence further, and also the presence of those you're trying to connect with. Here are some useful tips to consider in your preparation. If you can, try to clear your desk of work that demands your immediate attention. If it's in your eyeline while you're on a meeting or presentation, it may temporarily distract you. So remove it from your eyeline. It's also worth removing other distractions, such as environmental distractions that you can see. Even pleasant ones, such as a nice view out of the window or a lovely piece of artwork. You can always come back and reposition yourself after you've left that important meeting or presentation. Have a think about what puts you in the most focused, present mode. It could be meditation, mindfulness, going for a brief walk, sitting calmly with a cup of tea. If there's anything that helps put you in that positive, present, focused mode, it might be worth considering bringing this into your preparation just before you step onto that important presentation or video call. Whatever device you're using to dial in on, make sure that you turn off other notifications on that device. And if you can, try to do the same on your mobile phone too. If you leave these notifications on, things may pop up in your view and momentarily distract you, and potentially others too. Also, it's worth thinking about how readily you are responding to messages that come in on other platforms. If we are working from a home environment, not an office environment or a classroom environment, our colleagues and clients might expect or assume that we're sitting in front of our devices, being able to be readily contactable. This may cause in us the feeling that we need to respond immediately. If you're able to set up an out-of-office notification on emails and change your status on chats and messaging apps, you may be able to shelve that response to those emails and messages coming in without people on the other end feeling like you're ignoring them. If we saw a colleague sitting in a meeting room, we wouldn't persistently bang on the door until they responded. However, if we can't see that that person is unavailable, we don't know that they are not able to immediately respond. So, setting up notifications and statuses on your different messaging services can allow you that moment to shut the virtual door on that important meeting. There may be some things in our environment that are completely out of our control, such as unexpected deliveries at the front door, background noise from neighbours or building works down the road. If these things are going to cause a persistent distraction, it might be worth being upfront about these distractions with the participants on the other end of the call. This can help them know what it is that's momentarily distracting you, or can help them focus in on what it is they think they can hear subtly in the background, identify it, and move on. If we try to ignore that these things aren't happening, it may cause a more persistent distraction for those in the meeting. Also, we may be sharing our new work environment with others, pets, children, partners, other people that are living in, or working in the same environment as us. We can't always guarantee that they're not going to find their way into shot. And if this happens, it might be worth making a virtue out of it by introducing them to the meeting, especially if they are persisting on pulling focus. One client recently shared their brilliant idea of introducing their young son as a junior stakeholder in the meeting. We are all potentially working from home or not our usual working environment. And we all know that this kind of thing can happen to any of us at any moment. So making a virtue out of it and fessing up to the fact that there are things that are out of our control and dealing with them in the moment can be much more useful to holding our presence and the presence of others as these things happen. One of the biggest draws of our focus and presence is constantly being able to see our own face on the screen in video calls and webinars. In fact, this is something that social scientists have now included in what they now term Zoom fatigue. Seeing our own face in the screen causes us potentially to make micro adjustments on our aesthetic, our facial expressions and body language, and this can be very tiring. Many platforms now have a Hide Self-View button. If you hover over your own video and click on the menu, you can usually find in the scroll-down list a button that says Hide Self-View. Others can still see your face, but you're no longer having to make those adjustments based on what you see in your own appearance. Also, it may be worth considering if videos are always needed to be on. Can you be just as effective in your conversation and communication with videos off? And this will help stop you from the prolonged exposure of adjusting to your own appearance.